Aloha, it was wonderful seeing you today. One of the things we were talking about is seeing major thirds, minor thirds, and perfect fourths. These intervals are what we stack on top of each other to get the chords. So when we see a major third, a C to an E, we start to view and recognize it as being either on a line or off a line. When we have three notes, we see, hey, that's a triad. When we move that note around, we have a inversion, and when we move that note around, we have another inversion. So what we should be comfortable doing right now, up to, I would say, the key of B major, is to be able to play C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. And at that point, we would move on to F sharp major and C sharp. The last two keys, they have 6 sharps and 7 sharps. You're gonna become so familiar with these, and the fingerings we use are really cool for these. We'll get to those later, but knowing how to make a major third, a minor third, and a perfect fourth from down here, and just feeling these out, how they're supposed to feel for the hands, you know, gets us accustomed to where they are. Switching over to a secondary hand halfway through helps us to actually program our brain to do both things. And then doing 2 different rhythm styles might help us to do inversions. So, play a C with your pinky, and then start playing your E, G, C, your first inversion. D, play your first inversion. So on and so forth. Next time, try and do your C in the bass, but play your second inversion. Hear what that sounds like. Do it in every key. Find all these notes and then move them. And what you'll find is keys that aren't C, that have no sharps and flats, are a little harder than C. But if you do it over and over again, they become a lot easier. The tactical questions that we came upon today with the root, the tonic, the subtonic, the mediant, the subdominant, the dominant, the submediant, and then the leading tone only correlates to individual notes. When you harmonize it, it changes the way we view chords and where they're going or where they just came from. They all make melodies, but one of the things we saw was playing in the D major. If we played a D major, and then we went up to a G, but we're playing our G in a different inversion, and played our G, we could then go back to the D and play the third. It sounds good. Do, do, do. The second time, play the D to the G, then to the A. Well, all while doing first time, second time. Hear how the bass notes went up? Wow, we changed our melody. So what we're looking for is, how else can we do that? That sounds fun. 6, 7, 2, or we're in the key of D. You could actually even call that 5, 6, 1. We'll talk about what this means in correlation to your leading or lending tone, but if we were in the key of D, and I wanted to get back to D, here, I could do a C sharp diminished, and it would work. Or I could play an A7, which is what we left off on, because in the A major, if you just add the 7th, the dominant, it gives you your C sharp diminished above it. There's our major third, minor third, and then if we went all the way up to our A, that's our perfect fourth. But pulling it down gives us another stacked third. Awesome. So we'll talk more about intervals, more about leading and lending tone, but for this week, try and play in the key of A or in the key of B. Exercise the idea of hearing your major third, exercise the feeling of having your minor third, and exercise the feeling of having your perfect fourth. If you can do that from down here all the way in each one of these quadrants, We're one step closer to being able to put it all together and work on correlating rhythm parts. Wonderful to see today. If you have any questions about what we did, please ask. And then the big payoff that we were talking about from stuff like this is being able to name chords. Here's the example. I think you could do this. In the key of G major, what's the minor relative? The sixth of the chord is an E minor. Therefore, all the notes in G major are also the chords in E minor, right next to it. And E minor 7 has a G in it. So both chords sound really, really cool. What we realize is what notes are what? Minor third, major third, minor third, minor third. Well, what does that make? Some big old chords. Sometimes it doesn't sound good in E to have that note. But in the key of G, yeah, a major 7 sounds fine. Major 7 in the key of G, wonderful. Add the E, it's an 11. Sounds wonderful. Or it's a 9 chord. Other than that, we're gonna learn how to diagnose these and talk about them after we dissect them for what they're worth. 3 chords, add a 4th note, put inversions of the bass in another note, and that leads to melodic structures of being able to get from one point to the other with melodies. Get you to the point where you're having fun playing around in the key. This week, try have fun playing in the key of A, or try have fun playing in the key of B. It's wonderful seeing you. Aloha.